Good evening and welcome back, poetry lovers. This is ZMWise, and here I am with my first audio recording ever. And here with us tonight is Miss V, who has graciously welcomed us with her presence. She is a new and emerging visual artist who is going to discuss the many aspects of her art, the abstract aspects, as well as the popular paintings of certain scenes from media. Now, please tell us, V, about the origin of your love of art.
Hi, everybody. I'm not a pro, but I love doing it. It's something that I've always liked to do. I love art. It's just who I am, and I've always been inspired to draw, and so I just started doing it one day. And, that's pretty much it.
Tell us about the synesthesia, V, because I know you have mild.
I don't know what's so funny about that, Zach.
I don't know, because I was about to say anesthesia.
Well, synesthesia is, it can be complicating to understand or explain, but it's basically where, the wiring in the brain is a little bit off. Mm-hmm. So for me, the way it works for me is I tend to see, bless you, I tend to see color with sound. So certain voices, certain music, I see sound, I see color with it. You know what I mean?
Can you give us an example of that?
So I guess this is why I am inspired to do a lot of replicas of album covers, because I associate sound with color. So let's say, Pink Floyd's voice sounds blue to me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Beatles always feel yellow or green.
That's not because of the yellow submarine, is it?
No,
right.
No. It's funny because it's not like a bright yellow. It's like a buttery yellow. Kind of like with your voice. I see like a sunset yellow with yours.
So you hear that, people? When people say, "I can't believe it's not butter," they're talking about me. So
that's right.
So ZMWise, the M stands for margarine, apparently. Now, okay. What inspired the one of my favorite pieces that you've shown me is the Pink Floyd Flowers from the Wall, or what I call flower erotica, or botanical erotica. It's that scene in the wall, and there's approximately 20 minutes of animation in that film. This scene, these flowers are sort of meeting and greeting for the first time. It looks like they are about to make love, but they sort of shapeshift into this gigantic prehistoric flying creature. And can you tell us why did you want to create this painting in particular?
Because it's about the movement of it. It is very different, and I love it. It's visually stimulating to me. The way the flowers greet and the way they move, it's passionate and intense at the same time. So I just love the way it makes me feel. Mm-hmm. I remember when I first, came across this clip, it was very intriguing to me, and I watched it over and over and over. So I like the colors too, and the flowers are really nice.
Mm-hmm. No, I know exactly what you mean. It's just that whole scene.
It's like they saw each other and they just couldn't keep off each other. That's what I like about it. They clicked right off the bat.
With them, I could kind of see a lust at first sight sort of connection, especially with them, because with flowers and pheromones and whatnot, it's just that instant connection. And now another piece that you created was the close up of an avatar's face from the film Avatar. Now, what inspired you besides the actual photo? What inspired you to recreate that one?
Well, just not the movie itself, but also the colors, the brightness of it, and um, I love how blue they are. You know, I know it's weird, but coming from somebody that has synesthesia,
It's amplified.
it's amplified. It's also known, I'm not sure if you guys know about this, but some people, some artists, they tend to have an extra chromosome. So it's like the colors are even more intense. So the blue is bluer, the red is redder, green is greener. And for me, when I see the avatar pictures, I don't know. To me, it has a lot of detail, and that's what I like to work with. Is a lot of detail. The more detail, the better. I just get lost in
Of course.
creating them.
Now, out of curiosity, after the final product was complete, I'm sorry, I don't like to say product, creation, after the final creation was complete, was completed rather, when you looked at that creation, what did you hear exactly? What sound? Because, I mean, I know you said Pink Floyd's sound was blue, but, like, when you looked at that painting, what did you hear?
Well, I didn't hear anything because for me, I associate sound with color. This is more visual, so I
Okay.
didn't. You know what I mean?
I see. So for you personally, it's not really interchangeable.
Right.
Okay.
This is why it's mild synesthesia for me.
Mild.
So
Okay. Right.
It's
Right.
it's always sound based for me. I know a lot of people can taste color, different things like that. That's not my case.
Yeah, well, you actually share the same sort of synesthesia with Jimi Hendrix because
Really? I
yeah,
didn't know
actually,
Jimi Hendrix had that.
yeah, from a very young age, and this is how he was able to create such masterpieces out of this sound. I mean, he associated color with sound, and of course he was heavily into mythology, Native American legends, and a whole assortment of other topics and styles. But what definitely propelled his career was his synesthesia. Yeah, it was very incredamazing to learn about. Now, please tell me a little more about your original concepts and what sort of styles that fancy you.
I really don't have any. I don't have a preference really, but I do enjoy a lot of abstract art too, not just replicas or different pictures like that. But I really do enjoy abstract art. It's also too, Zach, about what you're feeling at that time. You know what I mean? Because what happens with me too, since I associate sound with color, is I'll be listening to an album, and then that is how some of my abstract art is inspired and created. So if I'm listening to somebody that sounds blue to me or that sounds red, that's what I tend to go with.
I see.
And then sometimes the song changes, and then I'll change, the color I'm working with. So it's a little bit strange.
I see. Well, as I always say, the words strange, odd, peculiar, weird, those are the ones that reign over words like normal, ordinary, perfect. I actually consider those words to be curse words, to be perfectly honest with you, because, I mean, whatever normal is, it sounds completely boring. Now,
Yeah, normal is kind of boring, guys. It is.
it is. Now, something that's prominent in your work, the certain theme, if I may be so bold to mention, is the highly underrated concept of twin flames. Could you please give us a bit more, like what is the definition of that?
Well, for me, this actually played a big role in my artistic nature. Is that twin flames seem to share part of their energy. They are literally a reflection of one another. And because they share this energy, my twin is an artistic person as well. So it's again, it's a very broad subject. But what happens is in the twin flame dynamic is if one twin has certain gifts or divine abilities, once they find each other again and they meet, it's like they intertwine those gifts and abilities. So what one is good at it'll interchange, I guess, with the other twin. So when I met my twin in the physical, to be honest, guys, I wasn't a really good artist at all. I mean, I could only draw lines and circles. But when I met my twin in the physical, I kid you not, I started to paint. I started to become really inspired, and it went literally from, you know, a night to day thing where my abilities were just blossoming, you know.
Wow.
So that's really my case too. Is my twin had a lot to do with it.
Goodness. I mean, I appreciate you for sharing such an important detail, such as that. I know it would play a large part on your personal creations and manifestations. Now, this is something that I'm starting to ask everyone I interview. What for you? What separates whether it's visual art, music, or literature? To you, what do you define as good works of art or music or literature, and what do you deem as filth? For you, what is the difference?
Okay, I know this is going to sound maybe cheesy, but the truth is, I do not believe that any art that is created is underestimated, because art is art. It is driven and it comes from the inspiration that we hold within. So art is art, and all types of art, whether it's poetry, spoken word, music, it's creativity. So it's all an amazing thing, really, you know. So
No, I agree fully.
it's something that you create yourself. It comes from a place within you that obviously inspires that piece, you know, whether it's a poem or a music, lyrics, you know, it's creation.
You know, this might actually interest you. It's funny you say that. In the 1971 Live in Pompeii recording with Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd is my favorite, actually.
It is. She loves them dearly. David Gilmour actually said in an interview about creating that when it comes to whether it's the lyrics or the melody or the music, they're really extensions of what's coming out of our heads. And it all starts in the head, whether it's a sound we hear, a set of words, a picture. And if you think about it, that's what creation is. And I prefer to use the term creator instead of writer, musician,
Right.
artist. Those are broader terms. I'm sorry, those are more specific terms, but the word creator encompasses all of that. And what Gilmour was trying to get at is, for example, whether it was a guitar solo or a certain riff, it all started in his head. Either that, or he started just playing around with it, and it began to evolve into something. That's how, for example, the other part of when he was playing around on his guitar, that's how that part in Shine On You Crazy Diamond came about, the do, 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 you know. It was from fumbling around, but some of the most amazing pieces can be from playing around, and in my case, I don't play guitar, I play a few other things, but sometimes I screw around and sometimes I hear something in my head, either that or I'm just walking down the street, or it starts out in my head and I know I have to record that idea. But
Right.
now...
One of the most passionate pieces too, Zach, is you know, it can start in the head, but also too when you incorporate your heart along with that, that is what makes your creativity, your art, even more passionate, just because you are also, you know, being heart-centered, and you are bringing that with that too, you know. That's why some people's art is just very passionate, very intense, because they put their heart into it as well. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, no, I agree. I'm very glad you brought that up. It's and it's very important coming from a creator like yourself. And you know, whenever I visit a museum or a gallery or whatnot, I usually like to or what I like to call it OAAI. And what that is, it's my own little acronym. It's observe, admire, appreciate, and interpret. That's what I do.
Oh,
That's what I do with art. And I'm not saying I don't want to attempt the craft, because my visual art could be described as, I guess, mostly sketches and whatnot. I mainly use a pen and some shading and some coloring here and there. But for me, anyway, as long as it's weird and abstract, it works. Regardless of the meaning.
exactly. And there is something, really intriguing too about imperfection, But teach me that again. It's OOIA.
It's OAAI. It's observe, admire, appreciate, and interpret. That's what I do with art. And for quite a while now, every single time I go to an art museum, I will bring my my notebook with me. And I think, as I told you recently, I made you well aware of the term ekphrastic, which is the collaborative effort between a writer or musician and visual artist. And it's very interchangeable.
Yeah.
Now, some, pardon me, some poets will create poems out of their poetic interpretation out of whether it's a painting, a sculpture, a collage,
Right.
or whatnot. And in turn, the artist will make their artistic interpretation of a poem. And it's just that collaborative effort. It's that artistic connection. There's nothing like it. And
Right.
especially
It's
when
the
you're...
feeling that you get from it too, what energy you're getting from it, what is inspiring you from that piece.
Exactly.
And you're creating something new out of that.
Yeah, and just knowing that the two of you came up with this. There are a couple times I wrote a song with this one fellow, and then I created a poem with this other person, and just knowing the two of us made that together, it was there's no feeling like it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I mostly love creating my own pieces, but here and there, I do enjoy that collaborative effort, and it's because as an artistic community, in the creative community rather, we're here to support each other and help each other grow and motivate and to create even more.
I agree.
That's why, I guess the most visual piece of art I made recently was this mask, and it was inspired by this picture of a brain. Half of it was completely just elephant,
I see.
just elephant gray, and the other side of it was bursting with color, which represents the creative side and logical side. But you people should know, the left and right brain, that's a myth. It is a total myth.
Yeah, because I feel like in a way, use both hemispheres equally. I really feel that way.
And certain people have preferences, and I think that's where they started to get the idea where, oh, well, some people are left-brained, some people are right-brained. I used to think way back then, I was diagonal because I was right-brained and wrote with my left hand.
Yeah.
So, and out of curiosity, which hand do you paint with?
My right.
I got you right on. Let me see.
I wish I could paint with my left. They say left-handers are better artists.
Well,
But-
I've seen your art, and I think it's fascinating, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Of course. Now let me see. Now let me ask, where can we find some of your work?
I haven't put that up together yet because I just started actually this year, but I am going to be, I guess, creating some type of page. I don't know if it'll be Twitter or Instagram, but that's actually a good idea to put my stuff in, like,
Digital.
yeah.
Yeah, so people can see it. They'll want more of you, and
Yeah.
then I'll be looking forward to the day where you're gonna have your own exhibit.
Yeah.
Or exhibition rather. Exhibit. Yeah, V's gonna go collect some dinosaurs, make an exhibit. No, that's
Hey,
great.
you created that mask?
I did. I went to this place on the island, and I for a while I thought to myself, what on earth am I going to paint? I haven't painted in goodness knows how long. But then I remembered that, and I wanted to do something that had to do with human duality.
That is amazing. I really like it.
Thank you. Thank you. It likes you too, even though it's got this blank face. But no, I've always admired masks, especially because it goes way back to some of the most ancient traditions on Earth.
They're very mysterious.
Extremely. They used to wear masks, whether it was for a ceremony, a representation of another spirit, or whatnot. And so the mask piece just really inspired me, but enough about me. This is not about me, no sir. But let me see. Do you have any final words before we conclude this interview?
No, all I want to say, because I know that you have a lot of, I guess, artistic followers. But, guys, if at any time you feel inspired to do anything, it doesn't matter how good you are at it, it's creativity, and it is all worth it. So that's all it takes. It's just, getting out there and doing something, no matter how small it is, right, Zach?
I agree. I agree completely. It all starts with a minuscule speck of an idea or a dream that happens in the head, and as it grows, you cultivate it, you nurture it, and it becomes a creation. I shouldn't say cultivate and nurture, because when you're putting this on paper, and that has to do with trees, so oops, wrong choice of words. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. All right, well, you heard those words of wisdom from V, a new and emerging artist. Her work is incredible, and she'll be creating more of her own abstract ideas. Stick around.
Yes, many, many more. Okay, and they are going to be amazing. So
you heard her.
Thank you for having me on, Zach.
Of course, it has been an honor. Listen to that confidence bursting from your voice. It's been an honor and a pleasure having you with us tonight. And thank you very much. Poetry lives, and long live the arts.